Sports, double coverage.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Double Coverage. I hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sport. I'm Dom with the Great Man Sauce, and we're fired up for episode 121. Panini loaded boxes. Sources put international, but it's meant to be intentional. In the title.
Oh, shit.
I just realized.
That makes sense, international.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, that's right. They're screwing us internationally. That's fair enough. Fair enough, Saucy. You're well? You're all good?
I'm good, mate.
You got fired up pre-show in the green room, mate. You just G'd up, and then you G'd me up first, and then I had to. Well, you G'd your own self up, but I just let you roll into the podcast. Fire.
Yeah, you let me just roll to it, and I said, mate, let's just get this started because I feel like there's going to be some rants, which is what we need. We need some people to be absolutely flamed. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a lot of that coming tonight.
We've got a lemon coming for you, and it's a beauty. Let me just say, I may have found my hero of 2022, my hero that I'm looking up to. I'll explain a bit later when we get to it. But other than that, it's been a big week in sport, Domo. There's a lot been going on. The NBA's well and truly rolling. Another big week in the NFL. Once again, some surprise results, as there always is in the NFL. It's firming up. We'll have a look at the standings. Obviously, I think 6 games played now. We can get a good indication of where teams are at. There are some teams that are sort of falling off and aren't doing as good as we may have predicted preseason. There is time to turn it around, but they need to get going quick. And then you had a massive UFC card over the weekend, which I'll have a chat about. Watched a bunch of the fights, and there was some surprises. Some people may or may not have been robbed a decision, so we'll talk about that a bit later in the show. But it's been a massive week, and I'm fired up.
He's fired up.
And the Lakers are still shit.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it. Anthony, welcome. Matty Tabe, welcome. James, welcome. Matty Cams, welcome. We'll have a look at all of it, James. Don't worry, we will get to it. Thanks for tuning in, and we are ready to go. NBA, like you said, we're right into the thick of it. Sauce. We'll have a look at the standings in a second, but first and foremost, just straight off the bat, right? We've got to get it out of the way. Zion's hurt already, right?
Lasted a whole 2 games.
Yep. You've got some feedback for old Zion, Sauce.
Yeah, Zion. Yeah. I understand you want the highlight play on that play, and you really want to bring it back behind your head and slam it with authority. But if you didn't bring it back behind your head like that in one hand, you wouldn't have given the guy a play on the ball. If you just went up 2 hands strong to the rim, there's a time and place to make that type of play. And the second game into the season is not that time and place. You should have just went up 2 hands strong. The guy would have fouled you. You probably would have got an and one, and you would have been brushing him off going to the line. Instead, you're out for an extended period now. He's obviously got back contusions and sore back hip and who knows. So it looks like I reckon what could be, who knows how long this, but it's Zion, so they're obviously going to be cautious with him like they always have. But mate, just make the simple play. Don't get injured. There's no need to. We all want to see the highlight plays, but the highlight plays will come. There'll be plenty of time for you to make those highlight plays. That was not the time and place, and I mean he's been injured because of it. And it was a clean play. Whoever blocked him from behind, it was 100% clean.
Very clean. It was a very good block. Yep, Zion. We're not happy with him on that in that regard. Next one, Ben Simmons has looked okay. It's going to take time, clearly. He's played 3 games since returning, I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to run with 3 games. Where are they? They are 1 and 2. Yes, so 3 games. He's looked okay. Got fouled out in the last one. Ja Morant's just playing out of his fucking mind at the moment. Putting up big scores. Philly Sauce started very, very slow. James Harden's looking pretty good, though. He's looking
James Harden, I'll tell you this right now. Like, we thought that James Harden had lost his step. to obviously blow by guys. Well, got fitter in the offseason. As I mentioned, he was working with PJ Performance. If you don't know who that is, look him up on Instagram. He's a massive fitness trainer over in LA. Trains a lot of NBA players and a lot of up-and-coming college players and everything. And got really, really fit, and he's got that step back, Doma. So he's able to blow by guys. And one thing that I have seen James Harden actually taking more of in early on in the season is that little mid-range jumper. He comes off the screen, gets to that elbow free throw area, and he's taken that jumper. So I feel like it's not something he's done regularly in his career. Like obviously he'll take it, but I'm seeing he's looking for that shot. So I think maybe that's something he's worked on in the off season, and he's bringing now to the court, and it's something that it's a reliable shot in the mid-range. We say when in tight games, if you've got that little mid-range jumper, it can help you out in the playoffs. So maybe something else he's added to his game. And Philly, they're getting rolling. They're obviously a bit more few chemistry issues still there, but they're not looking awfully bad. The first game was they're probably the worst game, and they've improved every game since.
Matty Cams, where is it? Okay, he's been fouled out 2 of 3. That's Ben Simmons. Yeah, but he has looked okay. I know he's been fouled out twice. I get that. But he's looked okay. Like it's actually the player that they needed. If all their shooters can actually hit the shots outside of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, then it could be a different story. And they learn how to play some defense. Ben Simmons is getting fouled out because he's the only guy playing defense out there at the moment. So
I mean, the foul on Ja Morant, his 5th foul on Ja Morant. I mean, the game was gone then, ladies and gentlemen. So who gives a fuck that he fouled out? But it wasn't a foul. And Ja Morant actually traveled before he fouled him, or supposedly fouled him. It was the softest foul call of all time. If you go have a look at the footage, he starts with his pivot foot as one, and then when Ben Simmons gets close, he changes his pivot foot to the other foot before he bounces the ball, which is technically a travel. So if you ask me, it was a travel before it was a foul. Shouldn't have been fouled out, but it is what it is. I think he's going to keep improving. I think this is Ben Simmons, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ben Simmons. Like what we're seeing, this is Ben Simmons. People want to expect him to shoot a jump shot. People want to expect him to shoot a 3. He's never going to shoot a 3. He's never going to shoot a jump shot. Sorry, guys. Like it's never.
But he doesn't have to. But he doesn't have to.
But I'm just saying, Dom.
Yeah.
It's
when you've got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and Joe Harris and Patty Mills and Seth Curry and whoever else they got on that team, I agree with you. It's the expectation of the masses. He has to shoot. He has to shoot. Doesn't have to do shit. Like Russell Westbrook shot 3s consistently, and you're saying to a guy like Russell Westbrook, you should just be driving to the ring. You should just be driving to the ring. You shouldn't take jump shots. Why aren't we saying, you should be taking 3s to Westbrook? Because he's shit at it. Just saying Ben Simmons.
Well, I think Ben Simmons is doing the right thing. Yeah, he's actually 100%. Playing to his strengths, unlike Westbrook.
He's got self-awareness. He's got self-awareness
shots in the last 30 seconds and cost the Lakers the game the other day against Portland. We'll talk about that in a second, but that's Ben Simmons. I'm telling you guys, like I don't think he's ever gonna have a consistent jump shot. Man, my left-handed jump shot looks better form than he is, and I'm a right-hander.
Yeah, that's because you're a gun, mate.
It's ugly. It's an ugly shot. One thing he does need to do, though, I think he needs to attack the rim more and look to score, attacking and driving to the rim. But Brooklyn will get it going. I do feel like there are some defensive frailties there, and to be exploited. Definitely. So, if they are to contend this season, well, we know for a fact you need to be at least a top 10 defense to have a chance of winning the title. Minimum top 10.
100%.
So they have to improve.
We'll run through a few things. I'm not going to go through every team, Source, because if we go through every team, we're going to do an hour and a half podcast just on basketball. So we can't do that. Global, welcome. Jono says, I look cute when I get frustrated. Thanks, baby. James says, John Morant will get MVP.
Or something, Jono.
Yeah, do what that Secret Admirer is doing for Dale. Send him chocolates and stuff. Send me some stuff. Send me some cards. Send me some Jordans and LeBrons. That's what you can do. Don't send me there you go. That's how we'll do it. James says John Morant will get MVP unless he gets injured. Matty Cam says, thoughts on Utah and Spurs out the gate? They've been good, impressive. Like, you look at Utah and you look at the Spurs. It's impressive, Source, because they're playing with nothing to lose, except the Victor Cup. They're going to lose the Victor Cup if they keep playing this well. But they've got nothing to lose, so they go out there. They play a system. It's working really well. They're sharing the load out there, and they're killing it. But I just want people to remember the maximum amount of games on Wednesday, the 26th of October, 2022, that have been played is 4. Maximum is 4. And that is Portland. They've played 4 games, and so have Phoenix, New Orleans, Utah. 4 in general, all right? Across the board. That's the maximum that amount of games that have been played. There's 78 more games left. These young teams that are dominating out the gate, they peter off and they flame out.
Yeah,
by the time we get to
and they don't have the depth. They don't have the depth. They get a few injuries to guys, and it's going to be hard for them. But look, they're going to have to go out there and prove themselves. The one thing about those two teams, the Spurs and the Jazz, like every player on that roster is playing for their job.
Yeah, correct.
Like they're playing. They want to be on the roster next year when the team improves, or the years after that. They want to prove to the league that they can be in the league, so that when they are traded, they can have somewhere to go, or there's suitors out there that want to take on that trade. So they have to go out there and play hard. They're not going to go out there just to for the sake of the franchise for the Victor Cup to get Victor Wembanyama on their team. They're going to want to put in a good performance for their own career. So it comes down to that. I mean, they're not going to just roll over.
A few notables, obviously Jazz, Spurs, they've been good. Blazers have been great. Phoenix is consistent as per usual up there. New Orleans has been good.
Yeah, one sec. I'll stop on the Blazers for a second. I think I've watched a few games of theirs. I watched two games. Obviously, one game they versed against the Lakers. Dame Lillard's back. We're seeing this is prime time Dame. Anthony Simons is the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. He's legit a second option scorer. They now got Jeremy Grant, who's a good defender and a really, really good third option scorer.
And 3-point shooter. He can shoot.
And he can shoot threes. They got Nurkic there, who provides good, a solid big man. He's a really, really solid big man. I think they have a pretty good roster. A team that I reckon maybe underestimated preseason in our preseason preview, Doma. I think maybe they whatever their over under wins. I think I had them under. I think I might have to, even after 3 games in, switch that to over. I mean, I see them potentially winning a multitude of games and giving teams a tough time. Especially Lillard's got that same step. I mean, he lost a bit of his step his burst and quickness, but it looks like he's got that back. And we're going to get a big season from Portland. Hopefully they don't get injuries, because they could hopefully not make some teams sweat.
There's a couple that are obviously Golden State got done yesterday against Phoenix. They got a bit of defensive work to do.
They got done again today against Phoenix as well.
Yeah. Today. Sorry, they got done against Phoenix today. Sorry. Yeah, it was today. Sorry. Clippers are just trying to gel back in Leonard, John Wall. All right, so we don't need to touch on that.
They're really taking it easy with Leonard. I think he's only played 20 minutes. So
Denver's overrated, so I'm not even worried about them. Minnesota are the one that is struggling at the moment, but that's time. They got Rudy Gobert in there. They got a few other things happening in the back of that ball club. Luka the Don needs more help. Christian Wood looks really good, though. Oklahoma, we don't expect him to do much. Houston, we don't expect him to do much. Sacramento is a massive disappointment because they made that trade last year and they've shown absolutely nothing. I'm not talking about one team yet because we're ending on it because Sauce is fired up and I want him to just lose his shit. The Bucks are on top of the East. Washington looks pretty good. Boston's pretty good. Cleveland's look fantastic. Donovan Mitchell carrying the load there while Garland got hurt in the first game. The Knicks. Charlotte's impressed. Atlanta's look pretty good. DeJounte Murray's look quality and fantastic. Toronto's been good. They had a nice bounce back game after losing to us in a back-to-back. They beat us yesterday. Scotty Barnes hurt. So it was a big win against my Miami Heat boys yesterday. They shot the lights out. They were hitting threes from everywhere. Bulls look okay. Brooklyn needs time. Philly in 11th in the East is nothing to worry about. Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton is going to be a superstar. That guy is a freak. He is a freak.
Yeah. He's got a nifty. It doesn't look natural the way he plays, and even his shot it doesn't look great, but it's effective. He's got a lethal step back. I mean, when he hits that step back, no one can get close to him, and he's crafty when he gets the ring. He's not like explosive Doma, but because he's so long, he can finish really well out in front, and he's able to extend those arms and finish nicely at the rim. Oh man, I think it's going to be funny. It's going to be so funny to see where this pans out over the next 1 to 2 seasons for the Kings. They obviously got rid of Halliburton. People were like going at the time, like, what the hell are you doing? But obviously they wanted Sabonis in there as a big man. It'll be funny if, the Kings make that trade that thought that would get them to the playoffs and be better. Doesn't actually improve their team and they miss the playoffs this year. It'll be funny how this all plays out. But it's worrying for the Kings and for that franchise, if you ask me, if it doesn't work out for them this season. What do they do? I think they'll be in stress mode. I think, and I'll put this on the record, mate, De'Aaron Fox ain't the player that everyone thinks he is. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
No way.
He's a good player. He's a good player, but he ain't the player that Gary V was hyping him up to be, ladies and gentlemen. If anyone remembers that, De'Aaron Fox, he's the next, this and that. Gary V saying, well, yeah, look, he's just doing it to pump up his cards.
It's not even the next saucy on a Monday night, mate. Let alone bloody.
He's a good player, De'Aaron Fox, but I'm telling you, he's not a first option scorer on a team. Maybe he's a second option, but to carry the load as first option scorer, he's just not that guy. And I just don't see the Kings doing anything. And the Pacers, on the other hand, I mean, I think they're just going to sort of struggle through the season. They won't do much, but it's all about
Mathurin looks good. The rookie looks good over in Indiana. Detroit, Jaden Ivey looks good. Duren looks good as well at Detroit. But obviously, Paolo Banchero is just dominating at the Magic. He's looked very good. He's number 1 pick. He's living up to the number 1 pick hype.
Lock-in rookie of the year. 3 games in.
But Matty Tape said, where is his comment here? Magic have looked pretty good, just can't close out games. It's going to be an issue. It's very young side, team. Very young. But the player in that team, Cole Anthony's a gun. He didn't play the first game. He came back after the injury and he dominated, like coming off the bench. But the guy in that team that is so good outside of Banchero is Franz Wagner. He is so good, Sauce. For a big guy, his skills and
he showed a lot last season.
Is phenomenal. Yeah, he did. I know in his rookie year, but he's been very, very good. Cosmic, welcome. Bogdanovic was at the Kings. He balled out today. I had Fox fantasy last season. He was inefficient. James says Paolo is a beast. We'll end on the last two.
Honorable mention, Matty Tabe, Bol getting minutes, decent minutes at Magic, and showing what he can actually do. Showing that he can actually play, getting some blocks. So, shout out to the Bol. Shout out to the Bol.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He did, Matty. It's very true. I'm just saying, Wagner just looks very good. He's got a bit of that silky smooth class to him when he shoots the ball, and just his ability is pretty good. I rate him. We're going to end on these two. My mob. I'm not going to go into in depth. I said on the preseason show, not what you are going to expect from Miami, the same as last year. I said we had G League guys. All right. They had come out of the woodwork. Strus, Gabe Vincent, Yurtsevan. These guys came out of the woodwork. They surprised a lot of teams, and it caused matchup problems for a lot of opposition. These guys have been found out. All right. Max Strus is a good defender. He gets shots, open shots. He does, but it's becoming a lot more difficult for him and Gabe Vincent. They're relying on their defense as much as possible. I know we're in 13th in the East. I'm not concerned. We will make the playoffs, in my opinion. But where people thought that Miami's going to go straight back up the top again. No, I thought Bam hit his ceiling last season. To be honest, he's been okay, but it is what it is. PJ Tucker was a big loss that nobody was really looking at. He spaced the floor so well for us, and he gave us that edge. That grittiness. It was like having Haslam back in the day, back on the court source. Going in hard for the loose balls and played with aggression. That's what you need in a ball club. Tyler Hero is a machine, but he's a gun. Starting now, shooting the ball really well. And we'll end it on this. Everyone's favorite team, who are last in the West, and that is the Los Angeles Lakers in 15th. 0-3. They've been shit, to say the least. Their 3-point shooting is pretty much non-existent.
I think we're shooting 19% as a team. I think
they're keeping Westbrook. They're keeping Westbrook on the court during crunch time minutes, shooting jumpers with 30 seconds left for no reason. And I just wanted to end on this because Saucy was fired up coming into this show, and I know he's defeated. We're 3 games in.
I'm defeated already. I was defeated before the start of the season when they didn't get.
You did say that they were going to be shit. You did say that.
I did. I told you, ladies and
you
gentlemen.
straight up said we've got. You said we've got no defense, no shooting. Yeah, you gave the unders. You said they would win less than 44.5.
Yeah.
I don't know where they were getting the extra 11 games from anyway from last season. They had Davis at the end of the year and they still couldn't win, and the team was better at shooting. So what made the bookies think they were going to win another 11 games?
The only thing I'm cheering on this season is LeBron James breaking the all-time scoring record. That's literally the only thing I'm cheering on. The Lakers are so shit. Russell Westbrook, he's never going to learn. I don't know if you heard his comments after the game, after he went 1 of 11. He played. All he's remembering is in the back end of that game when he got some interceptions or something like that. He got some. He got some steals and.
He's remembering his MVP seasons.
We made our best. That was a long time ago. He's never going to get to that levels again. We made our best run in that Portland game when he was off the court, right? And then we bring him back on the court, and what do you know? We end up losing the game late. He takes a jackass shot. I don't know if you've seen LeBron and AD just threw their hands up in the air. They were just got over half court, and he jacked it up. And with 31 seconds left, oh man, look, we're a shambles. We got no shooting. We got no outside shooting. And, mate, LeBron's gone on record and said we are a team that is not compromised to be great outside shooters. That's what he said, right? What are you supposed to do?
Global says if you could swap Westbrook for one young player, 2nd, 3rd, 4th year, who would it be?
Well, no GM is in their right mind would take on that contract and take on the Westbrook burden. I mean, the Lakers are so dumb. They got themselves into this position. Look, I don't even know where to go from here. The Lakers franchise is going to be so fucked for the next 5 to 7 years after this. It's ridiculous. We've got no freaking picks. We've got no picks. If we finish shit this year, our first round pick goes to the Pelicans. So even if we tank and go for Victor Wembanyama, we could end up giving that pick to the Pelicans, or we will end up giving that pick to the Pelicans, and they'll get him. So the Lakers are cooked not just for the season and the players we're currently got. We're actually cooked for the next 5 years after LeBron goes, even if AD's still on there, we're going to literally be AD with a bunch of spuds. That's it. I said this, we spoke about this, Donna. The Lakers should have been looking to get rid of LeBron, get rid of AD, get rid of Westbrook, get rid of them all. Get as many picks as you can back and try rebuild, because we are not going to win another championship anytime soon. And that's that. And the management, LeBum GM, he's shit at GM. I hope he doesn't get imagine he gets a freaking organization in Vegas like he wants one. He's saying to the league, if you open up a team in Vegas, I want to be the owner, right? Mate, you can't even make good GM moves while you're a player. What makes you think that after you're going to make any better moves.
Yeah, you get guys like Shabazz Napier and
talking up Taylor Horton-Tucker, Shabazz Napier, and who else is the other guy he's talked up before? What's that guy? Oh, I forget his name. He used to play for Portland and whatever. He's just a little small guy. But, man, it's a shambles. The Lakers franchise is a shambles. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if we are to do anything this season, we have to get shooters, man. We have to get shooters. We need some shooting. We aren't that. You know what's funny, Dom? You know what actually has been keeping us in games? Our defense. Our defense has been good, but because we can't hit shots,
LeBron's actually been playing.
Makes it so difficult because we have
LeBron's
to.
Actually, I've seen LeBron blocking people off the glass already. He hasn't done that in 3 seasons, mate. Since you won the title,
mate. We have to get 6 stops just to make 1 basket. That's the problem.
The fact that the 37-year-old man, who should be literally in a retirement home when it comes to basketball, is still dominating.
Yeah,
is sad.
That's amazing.
That's actually sad.
Oh, it's sad for the franchise.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing for us to watch because his longevity, but it's sad for the franchise. It's a disgrace.
It is a disgrace.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's rant over for the NBA and let's move on to the English Premier League. We had some big games, Saucy. Some juicy stuff's happened. I think we could be going for a while here talking about some stuff because, we played midweek. We played 2 games, obviously. We beat Tottenham United, and there's a bit of a fallout, so we'll get to that in a minute. So we had round 12, which was played, was Nottingham, Brighton 0-0, Crystal Palace, Wolves 2-1. To Palace, Newcastle, Everton 1-0, Liverpool defeated West Ham 1-0, Brentford and Chelsea 0-0, Bournemouth lost to Southampton 1-0, United beat Tottenham 2-0, Aston Villa lost to Fulham 3-0, and that was the end of Steven Gerrard, his tenure at the club. He's gone. Unai Emery has come in, former manager of Arsenal and former now manager of Villarreal. Leicester defeat Leeds 2-0. Nottingham then defeated Liverpool in the round 13 games 1-0. Absolute ripping game to watch. Nottingham Forest fans were going off their head. It was so good to see them win at home against Liverpool when I was celebrating every moment of the way. It was fantastic. City bossed Brighton 3-1, and we saw Haaland push, forget who it was, the last man, but he pushed him into another dimension when he scored his first goal for City. Literally just bumped him into another dimension. Everton defeated Palace 3-0. United and Chelsea draw 1-1 after a Casemiro 95th minute header. Leicester defeat Wolves 4-0. Southampton and Arsenal draw 1-1. Arsenal squandering some chances, as Saucy will probably discuss. Fulham defeat Leeds 3-2. Villa, with their new manager, defeat Brentford 4-0. Tottenham lose to Newcastle 2-1. And West Ham defeat Bournemouth 2-0. Biggest news out of all of this source, I don't think we really need to get into much, was obviously the Tottenham game, and that was the walk-off from Cristiano Ronaldo in the 86th minute of that game, and that was the talking point from the weekend all the way through to today, because we found out he's going to be playing against Sharif in the Europa League tomorrow morning, which is good news. He's back in the team, but he got a ban. He did not play against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And what was source an absolute demolition of Tottenham Hotspurs in that game. Like, you want to see an absolute bossing? We killed that team. That we made them look second rate, played them off the park, and that's what the headline should have read the next morning. Manchester United bossed Tottenham off the pitch in 2-0 victory, but instead it read Ronaldo walking out on team mid-game. That's what it would have said, even though it was in the 86th minute. Besides the point, he got banned. Me personally, you know how much I love Ronaldo. You know I believe that he does absolutely nothing wrong, Source. And I will openly admit on this podcast right now to the masses that I even thought it was wrong. Shouldn't have done it. I was watching that game live, and when I saw him walk down the race, Source, I said, the headline is now going to be all about Ronaldo, and it's going to discredit what Manchester United has done to Tottenham today in what was a fantastic victory at Old Trafford. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the Ronaldo situation. He's back now. Hopefully, it's the kick up the ass that he needed. I don't know. He's struggling at the moment. Messi's dominating. It's literally roles reversed from last season.
It did put out a statement, and say, sort of just saying, unfortunately, he's always showing professionalism and whatever. And unfortunately, at times, he said sometimes the heat of the moment gets the best of us. And he's obviously knows he did the wrong thing. He knows he did the wrong thing. But at the same time, the word was, Doma, this was the word. Now, I don't know if this is official or not, but he was requested to come on late in the game, and he refused to come on, and then he walked off down the race. Don't know if that's 100% confirmed or not. Oh, no. That's just what I read somewhere. But regardless, he did do the wrong thing, and he probably should have stuck it out and seen his team. I just feel like Ronaldo, he needs to just embrace that he's going to be at Manchester United to the end of the season, right? Embrace the team. Try just be a professional team, ultimate professional. Doesn't matter you're not getting game time or whatever it is. You have to you got to be better. You got to be a better role model for obviously the younger guys in the team. And I think hopefully he goes down that stage. He goes down that path now. But there's a few warning signs, as I said. When you kick that goal in the Europa League a couple of weeks back, the last minute McTominay winner, he should have been so happy for the team and everything. He didn't even run over to the corner to celebrate with the rest of the team. He was just wandering and walking in the background. He didn't even give a fist bump. It was like he didn't even care that they just hit a late winner. So there's obviously some issues there. I hope he can sort himself out. I will say, the games I've watched him play, he has had, there's been opportunities for guys to give him the ball in great position so he can score, and they've decided to do other things like shoot or not passing the ball. I mean, if he was banging in goals, if he was, he gets
I agree with
you. The positions, and if he was, they were giving him those cutbacks or those crosses, and he was finishing those, those goals, people wouldn't be saying as much, Thomas. So it's sort of it all plays hand in hand.
The same opportunities are being given to Rashford on a silver platter. What they're not giving Ronaldo, unfortunately, they're giving to Rashford, but Rashford doesn't know how to finish. I don't know if they just don't like Ronaldo. Don't want to give him the ball, but just give him the ball and let him win you the game. As simple as that. He's had so many opportunities. I know I've expressed this to you. I'm not just trying to pick on my players on my team, but they're doing it for some players, and then for him, he's not getting the service. On the overlap, he's open. Just give him the ball. He's got a better finishing rate than any player on that team. So I know who I'd trust to take the shot. Anyway, it is what it is. He made a mistake. Hopefully he's learned from it. Apparently he's had heaps of talks with Ten Hag in the lead up to this week's games. So we'll see what happens. My prediction is he's not starting against West Ham. So we'll see how upset he gets on Monday morning. I don't think he's going to start.
Is Unai Emery the new manager of Aston Villa, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Interesting. Surprising that he left Villarreal and joined Villa. Okay.
Anthony says, it is beautiful to hear those words from my mouth.
The last time you'll hear him as well.
That is never going to happen in the
He's already copped one. He's already copped one, James.
Yeah, but I didn't give it to him.
I gave it to him.
You did, yeah, because you're a lemon. I gave one to Messi. Because I had to. Because I felt I was that upset. I just had to pick any shit moment that Messi did something and I had to give it to him. Ronaldo can't have one and Messi doesn't. Get out of here. That's ridiculous. Anyway, games this week coming up. Leicester, Man City, Bournemouth, Tottenham, Brentford, Wolves, Brighton, Chelsea, Palace, Southampton, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Fulham, Everton, Liverpool, Leeds, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest. Hopefully you can ready the ship there, Source. Get back on track. And then Man United versus West Ham. With the dropping of points, Arsenal is now 2 points in front of Man City on 11 games played. Tottenham in third, Newcastle in fourth, equal with Chelsea in fifth on 21, and then United in sixth on 20 points. And the surprise packet, Fulham in seventh. Good on them. They're doing very well. Over to the Champions League, Source. I'm just trying to burn through this because we've burnt a lot of time so far. Apologies to anyone. Benfica defeated Juventus 4-3. I think that's the nail in the coffin for Juventus, is it, Source? They're done and dusted now after that one. Not good for them.
They can't qualify. No
They're
chance of
done now.
qualifying. They were pretty pathetic this morning. I'm not going to lie. They were pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
I think they went down 3-1 or 4-1 at one stage. They got it back to 4-3, but they had to win the game to have any chance of qualifying. And you know what? Like when you come out and you have to win a game, how should you come out and play, Domo? You should come out with intensity,
dominance,
try
mate.
boss the game,
Boss the game. Correct.
They sat back, gave too much of the ball to Benfica, and Benfica, when you do that, they're a quality side. If you give them the ball like that and don't put them under pressure, they will pass you off the park. And they pass them off the park and put them to the sword. So, that's Allegri, terrible game plan going into that one. You should have had your team on the front foot, and you once again failed in the Champions League.
Next, Ange Postecoglou and Shakhtar drew 1-1. Dinamo Zagreb got slapped by my AC Milan boys, 4-0. I'm not sure where that puts Milan Source in the group, but they're not very good at Champions League at all. They struggle a fair bit.
They might be second in the group, I
believe. I don't know. I think they're third still, unless today's win put them up. Dortmund and City drew 0-0. Second, there you go. PSG smashed Maccabi Haifa 7-2. Leipzig ended Real Madrid's 18-game unbeaten streak, defeating them 3-2.
Watch that game.
It's a nothing game anyway.
It was those two teams are on top. So, Shakhtar's the only team that can potentially get it from here. But they have to win their final game, and Leipzig will have to, lose their final game. If they just get a point from their final game, Leipzig, they'll qualify. Real Madrid will want to win their final game just so they finish on top of the group. Benzema was missing this morning. It was pretty average defending for the first 2 goals. I'm not going to lie, from Real Madrid. They did get one back before halftime, and it was 2-1 going in at the half. And Leipzig just looked more clinical on the day. Real Madrid sort of struggled a bit. They didn't play like their strongest side. Freddie Valverde is injured, so he didn't play. So they had. I'm trying to think who they had at right back. They brought on Cabajal later in the game, but they didn't have him starting at right back. I think they had like Nacho at right back to start off with, and he was getting absolutely burnt. Look, I think Real's still looking in a good spot, but Leipzig, after having a terrible start to the season, so I'm not sure if anyone's aware, they started, I think, 5 losses in a row to start the season. They've turned the ship around. They're playing some nice football. They got that Nkunku, the one
Nkunku's in that team
to go to Chelsea. He looks a good player. Looks like a really, he's got great pace on him. Dangerous running in behind. So I think he'll be a potential for bigger teams to come pick him off over in the next transfer window.
And our boy plays there, mate. Our boy plays there, Source.
And Timo. Timo, he scored today. He scored.
I know.
He played good. He played very good,
did.
Timo. What's funny is he's playing better. Like, I think just the whole Chelsea.
It's a system.
Yeah,
the league, the system, the league. Well. Yeah, 100%. Salzburg lost to Chelsea 2-1, and Sevilla defeated Copenhagen 3-0. Games tomorrow are Club Brugge versus Porto, Inter Milan versus Plizen, Ajax versus Liverpool, Atletico Madrid versus Bayer Leverkusen, Barcelona versus Bayern Munich, Frankfurt versus Marseille, Napoli versus Rangers, and Tottenham versus Sporting.
Must win for Barcelona if they're to have any chance to go through.
Massive game.
Any chance
tomorrow. Massive. All right. Let's move on to the United States Grand Prix. Nothing much to report here. Sainz started on pole. Kings of quali. Ferrari. Kings of quali. And how's it end, Source? Red Bull win because they're just the masters of the race format, not off a couple laps. So Max Verstappen wins it, followed by Lewis Hamilton on the podium, which is good for Mercedes fans, in second, and Charles Leclerc in third. Nothing else really to report. Perez fourth, Russell fifth, Norris sixth, Vettel seventh, Magnussen eighth, Sonoda 9th, Ocon 10th. And then, of course, we'd like to just see where our boy Danny Rick finished, and that was in 16th. Not a good race for him.
So has he got a seat officially next year?
Yeah, nah, he just got offered that. Gunter Steiner said that stuff from Haas, but it's not confirmed. Apparently, he's going to be a backup driver for Mercedes, but it hasn't been officially announced. It's just rumor that he's going to be in that backup spot just in case. Who knows, Source? Who knows what happens with Danny Rick? But good win for Max Verstappen, now up to 33 career race wins. The funny thing is, we did discuss this, Source and I, pre-pod. Charles Leclerc no longer has more pole position starts than Max Verstappen. It is now equal, Source. They both have 18 pole positions in their career. And out of the 18 pole positions that Leclerc has equal to Max Verstappen has 2 world titles to his name. So it just shows that the errors made by Ferrari may have costed this guy winning more races in his career and potentially
not may have, they champion. Have.
Yeah. So race this week, Source, is in Mexico. It is the Mexican Grand Prix. I think this is 7 a.m. start, Source, Monday. 7 a.m. race. That is a ripping time. 7 to 9. No work for me on the public holiday. So this time, there definitely will be an off the grid. So I'm back on deck.
We'll be on.
7 to 9, Mexican Grand Prix. Tune in and check all your local listings. Next up, NFL, Source. We're flying here. Let's get to these round 7 games. Stop me if there's anything interesting. Cardinals defeated New Orleans. Obviously, Kyler Murray in this one getting a bit upset at the coach. He was a bit fiery. They defeated them 42-34. The Washington Commanders defeat the Green Bay Packers 23-21. Shambolic at the moment. Aaron Rodgers says there's nothing to worry about, Source. It's okay.
Well, that's. I'll tell you what. That's not what the bookies are saying for him to win the division. When they were $1.60 favorites pre-season, and now they're out to $6, and the Vikings are into $1.16 to win their division. So I mean, the bookies have our boy Kirky Cousins. I'll tell you what, Doma. I'll tell you what. Where is it? I can't find it.
You like that?
He's
$1.16 favorites. We like that. We do like that.
We do, Kirky. Well done. Tennessee defeat your boys, the Colts, 19-10. The Giants roll on, defeating Jacksonville 23-17. The Cowboys defeat the Lions 24-6. Bengals defeat the Falcons 35-17. Panthers touch up Tampa Bay 21-3. Baltimore defeat Cleveland 23-20. Vegas defeat Houston 38-20. The Broncos lose again to the firing red-hot New York Jets 16-9. Kansas City slapped San Francisco by 21, 44-23. The Seattle Seahawks, Matty Cam's boys, defeated the Chargers 37-23. My Dolphins back on the winners list with the return of Tua Tagovailoa. We're now 4-3. We lost 3 straight without him. We're 4-3, beat him 16-10. And then the big game, Source, the benching of the great prodigal Jones. The Bears defeat the Patriots 33-14. Yeah, the next Tom Brady got benched in a slapping against, I don't know, the Bears, I guess. What's going on with the Patriots? Says James. Oh, fuck. There's a theory behind that. Why is he taking 3rd driver for Mercedes? No one else wants him. Global. What's going on with the Patriots QBs? Bill Belichick had Tom Brady before Mac Jones. That's all I'm saying. He had a good system, but he also had the best quarterback to ever play the game. And Mac Jones, yeah, no comment. Sauce and I discussed this off air once, and it was when everyone was buying and selling these Mac Jones cards like crazy. This is the guy. You got to buy Mac Jones. He's the guy. He's the guy. He's the guy. And I literally said to Saucy, there's 11 quarterbacks in his conference. 11 in his conference that are better than him and that will more than likely win a Super Bowl before him. And by the time he gets his moment to win a Super Bowl, there'll be more rookies that have come into that conference or into the league that are better than him. And by the time it comes around to his opportunity, he'd be sitting on the couch because he's out of the league. Do you want me to go through and just like to people that collect this guy and genuinely think he's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread? I'll tell you who some of the QBs are in his division. For those who don't know, if you don't know the divisions and stuff and the teams, I'll tell you I'll tell you who's better than him. All right, you ready?
No,
all right, we'll count them. I'm going to put.
And after this, I do want to touch on something else before we move on.
I'm going to put a counter. Ready? Patrick Mahomes, better. Josh Allen, better. Joey Burrow, better. At the moment, Zach Wilson, better. Derek Carr, better. Russell Wilson, better. Lamar Jackson, better. Justin Herbert, better. Titans, Jags, Trevor Lawrence is better. Texans, Steelers, that's it. So we've got 9 QBs, not 11, 9. Sorry. 9 in his own division. 9 that are better than him. In his conference, sorry. Do not tell me that any of those guys, he will ever be close to any of those guys, better than those guys. Don't tell me. So you're telling me he's going to be better than Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joey B, or Zach Wilson maybe, Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. That's in his division. Then you've got to go to the whole league. He's going to play that other quarterback in the other conference in a Super Bowl if he gets there. Anyway, that's just food for thought. So when next time you go spending tens of thousands of dollars and you think he's the Messiah and he's the next great
of the game, yeah.
Matt's Card Shop says, remember the Dom Ross PSA 10's gone for $2,000 US? Yeah, because those people were idiots that were buying them. Fucking morons, man.
Mate, Belichick is defensive coach first season without Brady or offensive coach without McDaniels. So, I mean, we do see that, but I mean, the talent's not there. And if you're going to have such a short leash on your quarterback, like, why don't they just stick with Zappy? We did say that. Just stick with Zappy. He's playing good, right? And they tried to put Mac Jones in there. He made like 1 bad throw, 2 bad throws, or had a bad series. They pulled him out of the game, put Zappy back in there. Then they were pulling Zappy out of the game, putting Mac Jones in there. You got to understand that's not good for your quarterback's mentality, whether it is Zappy or Mac Jones, to know, that's what your coach thinks about you, to have you such on a short leash, one little mistake or a few mistakes and you're out of the game. Like, that's not a good way to, be coming into a game of football, having that in your back of your mind, that you're always, having that added pressure. Not only is it already pressure enough, I mean, you're in the NFL, the best league in the world for American football, right? That pressure is enough. The fact that you've got that pressure of the coach overhanging in the back of your head, that, one mistake, you could be out of the game. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. Belichick and the Pats need to sort their shit out. But yeah, they're not going to do anything this season. But what we can get up and about is New York football is back, baby.
It's looking pretty good.
Absolutely flying. And you know what? I'm spewing, Doma, because I looked at the Giants versus the Jags on the weekend. The Giants were $2.20 or something outsiders. I was going, this could be the bet of the season. I was like going, this is unbelievable. I couldn't believe they were outsiders against the Jags. I understand the Jags were at home, but the Giants have been playing really, really good football. I mean, it's good to see. Excited for the New York fans. I feel like we've got a bit of the season that the Knicks 2 seasons ago when they made the playoffs. Has a bit of that feel about them. The New York fans are getting excited, as they should be, because their teams have been absolutely shit for so long. So as you should get excited. But let's just give some props to New York football. They're looking good.
Definitely.
Even though the Giants, unfortunately, they do have, I think, Philly in their division. So it makes, I think Philly's on top and they're close second. But I think with the record that they started with, if they can keep it rolling, they should, definitely lock in at least a wild card spot into the playoffs. So, I mean, looking good for New York football.
Definitely. We'll get to round out games coming up. So we've got Tampa Bay versus the Ravens, Jags versus Broncos, Falcons, Panthers, Cowboys, Bears, Lions, Dolphins, Vikings, Cardinals, Saints, Raiders, Jets, Patriots in that nice divisional matchup there. So we'll see some more Zach Wilson football. Eagles, Steelers, Texans, Titans, Colts, Commanders, Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, Giants, Bills, Packers. If Aaron Rodgers thinks there's nothing to worry about, he's got Josh Allen standing in his way this week. And then we have the Browns, Bengals to finish off the round. All right, Saucy, over to you. Massive UFC card. It was massive. That is not an understatement. It was huge. So give us a
UFC 280 just transpired over in Abu Dhabi. Was a massive fight week. And fight night. We'll run through the main card, give you some results, and I'll have a bit of a comment on the fights that I did watch. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the main card did start at 5 a.m. I did stay up to an ungodly hour on Saturday night watching a bit of football world game. So then I snuck in about 4 hours sleep and then woke up at 6 a.m. to catch the last 3 fights. So I can comment on those. You had Manon Fiorot in the women flyweight getting the third round decision over Caitlin Chook again. So good win by her. But Neil Dariush, after a big layoff, this is half the reason why I thought maybe he wouldn't get the win, because Gamrot's been more the active fighter. Dariush has had a big layoff with injuries and whatnot. But Dariush comes in there and shows why he's, one of the lightweight contenders, potentially, could have a title shot very, very soon. He gets the third round decision over Gamrot. Gamrot wasn't able to really find his foot in this fight. Dariush was able to put the pressure and showed, he's a wily veteran and was able to get the decision win. The bantamweight, Sean O'Malley gets the win over Peter Yan, third round decision. Look, I'm happy Sean O'Malley won. But I'm telling you, Doma, he did not win that fight. I'm telling you right now. Have you seen
Khabib's reaction when they said that Peter Yan or when O'Malley won? Have you seen that? I haven't
seen it. I know there's a reaction.
He's watching it going, split decision? He's like, what? And it's like, Sugar Sean. He goes, what the fuck? He's like, what?
That was what I was thinking. I watched the whole fight. In my personal opinion, Peter Yan won the fight, because if you go have a look at the statistics, they landed very similar in terms of strikes, very, very similar. But the difference was Peter Yan literally took him down 6 times and actually had control on the ground at times through that as well. Yes, O'Malley was able to get to his feet, but he still was able to execute the takedown and do it, get him to the ground. I think that has to stand for something. And I feel like, Peter Yan was probably robbed a little. He was robbed in that fight. Sean O'Malley shouldn't have won. But I don't know. This sets it up a really, really interesting time for that division. Bantamweight, I'm not sure if you've seen, Doma, he went from rank number 12 or rank number 11 to rank number 1 behind the champ. So he's now
who's
in
the
line.
Champ, isn't that?
Aljamain Sterling is the champ, who is the next fight, which I'll talk about. Sean O'Malley is now the number 1 contender for that fight. I think they are looking to have that fight at UFC 284 in Perth next year. So it's going to be an absolute loaded card, which is going to also include Alexander the Great Volkanovski against the new lightweight champ, Islam Makhachev, who won their main event. But Aljamain Sterling won in the bantamweight. He submitted TJ Dillashaw There was a bit of pretty much of a nothing fight, if you ask me. Aljamain always had the advantage in this. TJ Dillashaw did have issues with his shoulder. He popped his shoulder out like 20 times in training camp, but he didn't want to forfeit the fight. He came in, and what do you know? First round, he popped his shoulder. Then he had issues with his shoulder, and then Aljamain was able to submit him in the second round. And then the main event, Islam Makhachev, he got him with the KO. No, he wasn't able to submit him, but he got him with the TKO. So, it was a beatdown, if you ask me, by Aljamain. People don't like him for some reason. I don't know. I don't mind him. People think he's so cringy, but I just think, people hate him. But I don't know. I like him. I like him because everyone else hates him, and that's half the reason why I like O'Malley, because a lot of people don't like him, but I think I like him because other people don't like him. That's what
Anthony
makes him
said
funny.
O'Malley is an awesome fighter, but they're pushing him to be the next face. He's basically the next UFC golden boy. Example, Connor 2.0. He has been good though up until this fight. Like the one that he got injured and it got stopped, and he didn't win that one. Every other fight leading up to this, he's dominated. He's been by far the best fighter and controlled that fight completely. It's just Peter Yan is obviously the exception, because he's a quality fighter. I'm not saying the other guys aren't quality, but he's like top tier, man.
I mean,
if he didn't knee Aljamain Sterling in the head, he probably would have won that fight.
Yeah,
when he got disqualified.
Yeah, true.
So he fought against a championship caliber fighter. He was a champ, Source.
He did hold his own. He did hold his own. I think, the doubters of O'Malley were like, oh, he's only beating down on guys that aren't ranked or outside the top 15, this and that. Well, he held his own with Peter Yan. Do I think Peter Yan won the fight? Matter. Yes, I do. I do think he won the fight. But regardless, the judge scored it that way, and we're here where we are. So you had the main event. Islam Makhachev submitted Charles Oliveira. I'm going to say I didn't expect that, Doma. I thought that would go the distance. Makhachev did say he would finish him, and he did. Oliveira tried his same sort of tactic to try to keep the pressure on. I think the thing was, which happens in every fight, Oliveira gets rocked. He ends up going on his back, and people don't want to go down there with him. The difference was in this fight was when he went down onto his back because he got rocked, Makhachev literally pounced on him like a bear pouncing on its prey and submitted him. So it's funny because that's what I think a lot of other fighters should have done when he went to ground like that. They should have tried to pounce on him and get mount or do something. But Makhachev wasn't scared to go down there and ended up submitting him. Credit to him. He looks. I mean, it's worrying signs. I'm not going to lie. It's worrying signs for Alexander Volkanovski. Look, I want Volkanovski to win in this fight, but he's going up a division to lightweight, so he has to put on. It has to get more weight onto him. He came into the ring, got called out by Makhachev and Khabib after the fight. Volkanovski was there in Abu Dhabi. He came into the ring. He said, "Let's do it. It's pretty much going to get done. It's not official from Dana White, but it's pretty much going to get done." And it's probably about 95%. It's just got to get the tick from Dana. Both fighters want it, and UFC 284 in Perth next year is going to be an absolute star-packed card. It's going to be massive, and I'm worried for Volkanovski.
When is it?
I think it's in March.
Going?
Oh man, I don't know, mate. You know what they do to with these sorts of things, Doma. Flights that are usually $400 will be $1,500. Hotels that's usually $200 a night ends up being $700 a night. Yeah. So not only do you have to pay for your ticket and all that, they've all the businesses and that rob you blind because the UFC's in town. It's pretty much a disgrace. I mean, it happens with the F1 here. It happens everywhere, right? We know what happens. So it ends up being a very expensive
let's just get to the F1 first together, and then we could worry about it.
Yeah, that's right. Let's just try to get to the F1 in Melbourne first, then we can worry about a UFC event that's interstate. But
exactly.
Look, worried for Volkanovski. I think there's a bit more that has gone. But one thing I will say is Volkanovski has a much better chin than Oliveira, like heaps better, and he moves and is a lot quicker than Oliveira. So I feel there's a bit of an advantage in that case, but we'll preview this when the time comes. Congrats to Makhachev and you're becoming the lightweight champ. He does look like he's going to dominate that division for a long time. He's He's literally the next. He's literally Khabib like. He fights like Khabib, and he's able to ragdoll guys and get them to the ground. He's just bigger, and it's just, I don't know, it's scary to watch. I never really thought much of him, but obviously having Khabib in your corner, that's a massive tip in his favor. So, and I mean, you can see that in his training. He looks like Khabib. I thought I was watching Khabib for a second when I was watching the fight.
Well, Matty Tape said the decay package turn up.
Let me go check the PO box at some point.
Oh, that's a saucy question. Anthony says it is in February, and Ethan says he's the Crimson Chin. Very funny. Card this week, Sauce?
UFC Fight Night. Let me see. Yes, there is UFC Fight Night. Qatar versus Allen. So the main event is featherweight Calvin Qatar against Arnold Allen. The co-main event is Tim Means against Max Griffin. I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen. Look, it does start at 10 a.m. and if you do have, ESPN, it's on free to air, so feel free to tune in. But it looks like a pretty average card, if you ask me. But it's always fun to watch. No real big names on there, but always fun to watch, and it is free to air this week. So tune in this week at 10 a.m.
All right, Saucy. Back over to, well, I've decided to scrap the first thing from the Le Mans of the week. All right, for this week. So we're going to go straight to your thing. All right, with your Australian, well, not Australian, the Nobel Peace Prize winner of 2022, your hero for 2022.
Oh, my hero.
Your hero. We're going to go to that. But because it is hobby related, we're going to get into hobby talk, brought to you by Platinum Standard Grading. Thank you very much to the crew there at Platinum Standard Grading for your fantastic work in the hobby. Saucy Le Mans of the week. It's your boy, your hero.
Well, he's not the Le Mans. The hero is not the Le Mans.
No, but he's the hero of this segment. He's the reason why these people are getting the Le Mans Sauce.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we spoke about him a bit before when we were speaking about NFL. And Domo listed through all the quarterbacks that are better than him. And I'm talking about Mac Jones, right? We knew the absolute pandemonium and hype that was around Mac Jones leading up into this season. People paying phenomenal amounts of money for his rookie cards. And my hero, Johnny Stone, this kid right here,
Yeah.
There he is. He is my hero. He is my hero, Doma. Johnny Stone. He pulled the 101 Mac Jones Prism and he sold it to some lemon for 100,000 smackaroos. Johnny Stone, you are a hero. And to all the Mac Jones investors and people pumping up Mac Jones like they think he's the next Tom Brady or some shit, you are all lemons. Oh, I had a bit of Pavarotti about it, that one.
Yeah, bro, with all the darts that you smoke, I'm surprised you're even able to go that long, mate.
Hey, mate, I got good lungs, mate. I got good lungs. It recovers, mate. That's why, hey, I could go in the sauna for 20 minutes straight, mate. I'm pretty good.
What was his name again? Ronnie Johns.
Johnny Stone. Hang on, mate. I'll bring him up again.
Stone.
That's
mate,
his
the
name.
kid sounds like he's got a freaking...
Johnny,
sounds like...
be good, Johnny.
Johnny Stones. He's
don't say the other name I'm thinking you're gonna say.
No, I'm not gonna say
it. Not Mr. Sins. Not Mr. Johnny Sins. Ladies and gentlemen, Google Johnny Sins if you haven't already.
Oh, jeez.
He's a very good actor.
Wow. Yeah, he's very good. He's good at playing a fireman, police officer. He's gone to Mars and the moon. Fuckers.
He's a good masseuse too.
Johnny Stones. What a gun. What an absolute gun. He's the hero of this podcast because he was that smart. He's a kid. Source, he's that smart, and he's just gone, you guys are fools. This guy is the biggest Lamont. He's a dud, Mac Jones, and you are going to buy my card for $100,000. You guys are nuts. Congrats, Johnny. You've done a fantastic thing, mate.
You're my hero. You're literally my hero of 2022. You are my hero of 2022. Johnny Stone.
Put him up again one more time, Sauce, before we move on. Get him up again.
There he is. You know, I'm leaving that in there so when we can say, the hero's back this week. Johnny Stone, here he is.
Look how happy he is.
He should be. He's got 100K cash.
You know why? You know why it's so funny? Because he's so happy, Sauce. Because I just want to see the face of the guy that bought the card for $100,000. That's why.
He does have big stones, Johnny.
He came out with his cojones, mate, and he said, "Get out of here, mate." Oh, far out. New cover pick, boys, for the page for a few days. I reckon we got to do it. Saucy, put that in the WhatsApp chat, and I'll change our pick. And if he's got a socials account, we'll put a post up. We'll make an award for him. Hobby Person of the Year, Johnny Stones. Gun. All right, let's move on. Enough nonsense from us two clowns. It's had everything this episode because you wait till we get to the roast of Donald Trump style hobby talk in about 5 minutes time. Here's the Topps Project 2022 cards that have just updated. The new ones, we've got Kylian Mbappe from Aikstub, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang by Dan Layden, which Saul said he's going to buy just to flush down the toilet. Nicolo Barella by Ivan Bezlic. We have Steven Gerrard by Vincent Arcio.
Stevie G looks good.
Pretty cool looking card. Too bad it's Stevie
G looks really nice.
And then we got João Felix by Bo Feng Lin. So 6 days, 7 hours left on those. So have a look. So that's that one. Anthony says apparently the guy who bought it sold it straight after for 50K more, but unsure how much truth there is to that. Yeah, it's just funny. It's just good on Johnny Stones. What a gun. Absolute gun. Let's get over to... So that one's done and dusted. Where are we here? I'm trying to get back on track because that threw me. That Le Mans sauce was Pavarotti style. All right. Here's Select. Let's have a look at some of these cards. It's dropped today. Comes out today. Pretty sure. Yep. Wednesday 26th. Hobby box. Here it is. 12 packs per pack. 12 packs per box. 5 cards per pack. Look for 3 autos or mem cards per box on average. Search for autos of Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, and many more from a deep rookie class. Collect all 3 tiers of the base set, which include Concourse, Premier, and Courtside. Each hobby box contains 12 prisms. Could be silver scope, tricolor, light blue, red, white, neon green, tie-dye, gold, green, black, zebra. Who knows? Astropherical, Galacticus, Macticus. I don't even know. Primary colors. Fucking who knows what they're going to put in next. Acid Trip. That's probably what the next color scheme is going to be. Acid Trip. I have no idea, Source, anymore. Search for hobby inserts such as Unstoppable and Fuego, Select Future, and Phenomenal. Here are some of the cards, the designs. Kuminga, Davion Mitchell, Jalen Green, Unstoppable Ja Morant, and Fuego. That card looks absolutely terrible, if you ask me. Anthony Edwards in flight, Jalen Suggs, Cade Cunningham. That patch there looks blurry in the picture because I'm not sure if they're going to remember to even put it in the card source, Panini. So that's probably why they've done that. That's pretty much it for Select. 1,200 Australian a box, I've been told by the Oracle. Talk about a waste of money. $1,200 source for Select. the product that actually was probably worth $1,200 when it was hobby only, but when you turn it into hobby and retail, and it's watered down, probably not worth that anymore, if you ask me. Anyway, if you're interested, check it out. But as Sauce and I always advise on this show, go buy the singles because it's more worth your while, because you could spend $1,200 and get $50 worth of cards in return. Absolute waste. All right, Sauce. Nash Cards. You want to quickly give them a bit of a plug?
Yeah, I'll give them a bit of a plug. I'm not sure if you've heard of them, Nash Cards. You can look them up, nashcards.com. I'll just show you I'll actually bring up their website, which I have on screen. Show you guys. This is their website. While we give them a shout out, they do SGC grading and PSA grading, but obviously we know there's people, Lane from the Hobby AU does it here in Oz. But if you have cards that you're buying on eBay in the States, sending it to your Ship My Cards, or if you have cards you're buying on Facebook from the States and having it sent to your Ship My Cards, you can actually send those cards from your Ship My Cards to Nash Cards to then get them graded. They also do offer a review service, which I think at the moment it's currently unavailable. So maybe they're a bit inundated with the review service. So there's a message saying currently it's unavailable. Maybe you need to contact them and get in touch and see if it is available. But they offer the grading services. What's great about it is obviously you don't have to bring the cards all the way back to Australia. You can leave them in the States. You can do it all over there. You can even get him to review each card for, I don't know how much he charges per card to do a review, maybe $5 USD, which is fair enough. But at the same time, it's going to save you money from having to, obviously bring it all the way back here. Then you review it, then send it all the way back there. So it's a good little feature. Check it out, Nash Cards. We'll give them a shout out. I know they run a really, really good service. And I do know, I think Sports Card Nonsense is partnered with them. And they promote them quite a bit. More than happy to give anyone a shout out that provides a good service that, allows obviously collectors, especially here especially collectors outside of the States, to do certain things. That way we don't have to spend so much on postage, sending it back to us, reviewing it, sending it back to the States, and we'll save you in the long run. And also, be able to get some cards graded in a timely manner instead of having to worry about international shipping and, international postage costs and other stuff like that. So, shout out to Nash Cards. Check them out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm guessing you can find them on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and their website.
Very nice. Matty Tape says the 101 got pulled for Mbappe gold vinyl. Yes, we had a chat about that. The Super Fractor. We spoke about that last week. Global says, what's your thoughts on CSG cards? Just a quick one there, Source. Because you rate them.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
Yeah.
CSG is a good company. Good company. Been around for a long time. And I think they're one of the very few companies that have a really cheap value service where you can you have to send in X amount of cards. I think it's 100 or something, but you literally get grading for, I think, 8 or 9 USD a card. So maybe in Australian, that's maybe $20 a card, I think.
Yeah.
Around that.
Global says, will we look at doing a CSG sub? Probably not.
There's a lot that goes into it.
We've been burnt so many times. We'd rather keep pushing platinum standard grading, and we hope that people in the group keep pushing that and trying to build them up as an option to grade your cards. Because as we've seen at the moment, whether it's PSA, BGS, CSG, I said SGC, the cards are going down anyway in price. Whether you're subbing the card or the card value, it's all going down. So it's actually getting to the point where the high-end stuff, you should slab with a PSA slab, but as long as the card's protected, you can create your own market in this country for cards in platinum standard grading slabs. You actually can. It's just people don't want to because they're all the name, but you'll be able to trade them and move them pretty easily. So, especially for footy, NRL, cricket, especially footy and NRL. There's that's a little hint for people. CGA cards go for a lot in that space. NRL and AFL, and
they're absolutely shit. I'll tell you that.
There you go. Saul said it. I didn't have to say it, but it's So why
and
can't you
they don't support the hobby here in Australia. Not once have they been to any of the major shows, and not once have I seen them say show face at a show to present themselves as the premium Australian grading company that's been around for 15 plus years, which they love to brag on about, but they don't.
And they refuse to come on the
here.
show, which we try and push as many Australian. We push Australian collectors, Australian breakers, stores, companies. We've pushed it all on this show. The resume is there. You can go back and look through the archives, and we asked them, and they refused to come on the show. So I don't know why.
Free promo.
Yeah. Matty says he'll be subbing some cards at the Adelaide show. Anthony wants to know if we're going to the Adelaide show. He said he can't remember if he asked. Saucy?
Yeah, I think we are.
Well, I know I am.
Dom has got his flight. I haven't even.
I'm booked, man. I'm booked. I'm booked, and I'm doing the fly-in, fly-out, baby.
Don't tell me you're on Jetstar. Are you on Jetstar?
No, Jetstar.
Oh, I was going to say, don't do that. Man. There's a good chance they'll cancel your fucking flight, mate.
I fly Qantas. I think I might be coming home with Jetstar. I don't care about that. If they cancel my flight, I'm just going to go shack up with Matty Tabe for the night. There's my invite. I've got plenty of plays. I can go Matty Tabe, Tyson Beck, take me in. Anthony, take me in. You know,
Anthony's not from Adelaide. He's traveling down himself.
No, he's from Adelaide, aren't you, Anthony? Anthony's from Adelaide.
Correct me. Who's right here? Who's right?
I'm probably.
No.
Yeah, Anthony said, "Fuck yeah, there you go, man. Yeah."
Oh, he's from Adelaide. Oh, there you go. Shit.
Don't worry, man.
I thought he's from Sydney for some reason. I don't know why.
I sleep in the soccer goals that he's got set up in the backyard. So don't worry about it. Matty Tape said he'll clean the shed for me. There you go. Easy. Not a problem at all. He said you're going to be booking the Glenelg Caravan Park source. Apparently, I don't know what that is. So
I think there's a big event on there or something on that weekend as well. So,
is there?
Yeah, something at the showgrounds. Matty was telling me.
Oh, okay. Massive. Awesome. All right, let's get into the thick of this sauce because let's try and keep this to 20 minutes. All right. The next couple of things.
Supernova. There you go.
Supernova. That's pretty sick. It's awesome. Saucy. It's been going on now for a couple of weeks. Trying to let it subside. A lot more shit's coming out. We haven't made a comment on this. The Oracle almost put me up against the wall, Sauce, mate, with his forearm against me throat, the Oracle, and said, "Why aren't you talking about the backyard breaks? It's the news, Doma. You and Sauce have got to talk about this. You've got to give your opinion." So we're going to give our opinion. And then we're going to talk about some other stuff that's come out. And then we're going to end on flaming a whole bunch of people, which is fine. And Sauce, if he really wants to, he can just go through the list of them, and I couldn't care less because, you know, we genuinely don't care. If you want to be in the sack cards category and block us, by all means, we'd love that. Absolutely froth it. But backyard break, Sauce, obviously they pulled the Cade Cunningham, they pulled the triple logo man LeBron, they pulled the triple logo man Clay, Steph, and Draymond Green card. Then a box that was sold to someone else. Was that the Cade? Maybe that was the Cade. Box sold to someone else. They pulled a 1-on-1, massive card in it. Cade Cunningham, it was the Black Prism 1-on-1. And a lot of people, I'll mention their names, AIH, Sports Card Radio, Rahul, which we've had a few DMs with. We're planning to get him on the podcast. Sorry, Rahul, if you do listen to this. Sports Card Radio Twins, yes. They've been pushing this. And our very own Australian, Dan the Cardman. If you don't know who Dan the Cardman is, I'm going to tag him when I put the tile out on socials. Go have a look at his content. He's very informative. He takes a good approach to his content, whether he's in the middle, He sides with one way, but he likes to take information and then form his own argument and opinion, which is very good. You've got to take facts from both sides. So that's just a logical thing.
Which is how you probably should approach most things when it comes to
in life, in general.
You probably should not just side with one puppet over here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you should observe the whole field and then decide which part of the field you wish to stand. All right, that's generally how you have a good discussion and how you're able to talk about things as adults, which doesn't happen very often these days, does it, Doma? It ends up being you're wrong.
There you go. It was the LaMelo Ball logo man auto in it. That was the case that they sold to someone, the other breaking group. Thank you very much, MP2 Marty. Glad you could help me out there on that one. So anyway, the whole controversy is all this stuff, and it's come out that there's been accusations and allegations source that, and people that are listening to this, that they've got someone on the inside and they're getting loaded cases, and they know that these big cards are going to be in there. And as MP says, they changed their stance and said they were joking about buying it from backyard breaks. They didn't. That's been proved by the accounts that I've mentioned previously. They did buy it off of them. So they try to distance themselves, but they may or may not have put their foot in it. The problem is they're pulling all these things source, and it's just convenient that they're the biggest, or one of, if not the biggest breaking.
I would say they are the biggest
on the planet. On the planet,
they are. They have 100,000. They have 100,000 followers on Instagram. Yeah. They have 2,000 subscribers or something like that actually pay for their Twitch stream. So I pay a subscription, I think $5 a month or something, to watch their breaks. So you actually pay money to subscribe to their Twitch. And they have across platforms at time, like most times, having at least 3,000 people in there watching their lives. At times even more, at 5, 6.
Yeah, I've seen 7.5 once before, 7,800. So they're the biggest. The most eyes are all on them. They're doing things that are obviously more out there, pushing the boundaries when it comes to breaking cards, and they do it it's actually in a fun way, the way they do it. But it's just convenient that all these cards have come out, and people have obviously, as we know in this hobby, there's the stance of there's bad things that happen in this hobby, and there's some corrupt things. And I know we haven't spoken about bad things in this hobby for about a month and a half now. We try to move on from it. But then the other side source is, we know there's bad things, but we should never talk about it, because we should always keep the positive, the hobby positive. And our stance, as you know, people that listen to this podcast, if you knew, was, well, if you don't talk about the bad stuff, then how do you educate people on what to avoid? If you gloss over the bad stuff and say everything's kumbaya in the hobby, that's how you rot people, and they get screwed over. It's just common sense. As Saul said, that's what happens when you listen to one side all the time. You don't do your research on good and bad, pros and cons when it comes to an industry. Funnily enough, everyone's backing them up, saying, no, it can't be rigged. Panini, don't send them this. And, they don't know which boxes are loaded. And I'll get to this. They've exploded in the past year. No, they've been around for a while. They were nothing 3 years ago. Yes, correct. Anthony says, I'm not a fan really of them, really, but open 100 million worth of a year of product, and you're bound to hit big hits and much bigger chance of product chases. It's very true. I agree with that. All right. I agree with that. They open a lot, and the odds of them getting that stuff, it's pretty high. But Sports Card Radio and went in and broke down the numbers, and apparently it's not as what everyone seems to think, even based on the volume that they break. It's too coincidental you've hit the 3 biggest cards, and the one case you've sent to another breaking company. So the 4 biggest cards are all tied to one breaking company. You know what I mean? It's pretty sus. Anyway, a box of WWE Impeccable Sauce Hobby got busted 2 days ago or yesterday, and the person that busted it obviously was filming their live reaction. They got a decent following on IG. I'm trying to remember the name of the account. Apologies to that person. Should probably fact check that myself. But anyway, they're going through it, and he's looking at all these cards. He hits like Eddie Guerrero auto source, and he's hitting some pretty nice cards in there. And he's trying to do like move the cards to the back. Was it Eddie Guerrero? Yeah, I think it was.
Can't be Eddie Guerrero. I'm pretty sure he's not alive.
No, I think it was. Might have been a sticker. Could have signed ages ago. I think it was Eddie Guerrero. Okay. Maybe it was someone else. Chavo, maybe. Maybe it was Chavo Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero passed away a long time ago.
I know that. It looked like Eddie Guerrero. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, besides the point, he's opening all these things, and he's doing like putting the cards to the back pulling cards from the back to put at the front, so to have the big hit at the end. And he goes and pulls a card, and it's a spacer. And anyway, he pulls out this spacer source, and it has writing on it from the manufacturer that says that the spacer was meant to be replaced with a 101 in the product. So that now has opened up another can of worm sauce, and people are a bit like skeptical to be like, well, if they can put spacers in boxes for where 101s are meant to go, then surely they are tracking 101s. So I don't know what your opinion of the matter is, Sauce, and what you think. But me personally, before I do throw it to you, and obviously myself, I chatted with Dan the Card Man today about this stuff, and I expressed what my thoughts were, and I'll share them with you now, is 101s are extremely rare. To avoid damage coming off a manufacturing line when they're loading the boxes, personally, I think that boxes get spacers put in them, which I'm using the spacers now because it looks like it's a thing that they do at Panini, and they hand put a 1-of-1 card in that box because obviously to avoid damage, to make sure it's in good condition, you got to put it's a 1-of-1, you know, and you don't want it to come off a manufacturing line, a 1-of-1 card of LeBron going into a box and it gets torn up, you know, that's the last thing you want. So I think they put these 1-of-1s in and these big hits, and I think like those to 10s, the blacks, you know, why wouldn't they go in the box? And why would a box have a serial number on it if the company isn't tracking a serial number of the box? Why does that make any sense? We're going to put serial numbers on our box, but we're not going to track it. We're just serial numbering it because it's this edition of box that's come out. It's like the 1 trillionth product that's come out the door. And all we do at Panini is print, design, pack, ship. And that's all we do for products. That's it. There's no tracking on serial code 1567257 has a LeBron 101 triple logo man. 1765264 has a triple logo man, a Klay Thompson. It's just in the spreadsheet. They know where it goes. It's not that hard. Pretty sure it scans every product as it goes through manufacturing. So it's opened up a bit of a can of worms. It's obviously, when you find a spacer with writing on its source that says a 101 was meant to be in this product, it shows that there's human element to the way the product is packaged. Or else that card wouldn't have been in there. Because the machine's not the machine's not writing on the spacer that a 101 should have gone in the product. It was handwritten by a human, put in there. It was obviously meant to go in that bundle. They got manufactured. The person was meant to check it, go, okay, here's a 101 from the pile. I'm going to pick a John Cena 101, put it in there, and then put it back in, whether it's in a conveyor belt, it gets wrapped up, boxed, and then that's it. It's done. We're good to go. So that's my thoughts. So that they track these big hits. It makes no sense not to track them as a company. So Saucy, your feelings on it? Backyard breaks, this incident of Panini tracking 1-of-1s and high.
I will say this. Look, I can't say it's 100% factual or not, but I think there is some sort of fishy business going on by Panini. I think it's a strategic move by Panini to send these cards to backyard breaks because they know obviously the amount of attention that they have in this hobby, and it's really good publicity if they open the card and get that big card, because people hate them so much. There's so many people that hate them, and there's a lot of people that like them, but that's obviously good or bad. It's good publicity for Panini. One thing I will say is, Dom, I'm pretty sure they got humans working at Panini, right? And last time I checked, humans generally, when big monetary value is involved, they get a bit of greed about them, and greed gets the best of a lot of people. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is an inside man who's tracking these hits, and then knows where those cases are going. So then he can go tell his mates to make sure they buy into every break spot at Backyard Breakers, knowing that you're going to hit a LaMelo Ball 1-of-1 or Cade Cunningham 1-of-1. Doesn't matter if you drop 50K on break spots, because you know it's in one of their cases, as long as you get that team in every case, right? So there's shifty business going on, and it's not. Look, there's shifty business going on when it comes to to breakers. There's shifty business going on when it comes to Panini. There's shifty business going on when it comes to PSA. There's shifty business going on when it comes to Beckett. There's shifty business going on when it comes to SGC. There's shifty business going on when it comes to freaking any company.
Uncle Ken.
Yeah, the auction houses. There's shifty business going on. There's shifty business going on eBay.
Podcast, double coverage, especially. No.
Everywhere you look in this hobby, there is shiftiness going on, right? You just got to sift out the crap. Unfortunately, this is happening, and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Like, when I asked the Oracle Doma, who's obviously been in the hobby for 20 plus years, and I said, does this surprise you? And his answer was, for the sake of the hobby, I was hoping it was not true. Right. And it's, for true hobbyists out there, I mean, maybe this is really a sad day for them. They had the true belief that everything was randomized by these companies. And when you bought into a break, you truly had the chance to get that 1-of-1 LaMelo Ball. You truly had the chance to get that 1-of-1 Cade Cunningham, that 1-of-1 Mac Jones, or whatever other card you wanted to chase, right? For example. But you don't, right? It's not a level playing field. There's the people in the hobby that are up here and have the power, and there's the people who fund the people that have the power. And that's majority of the other people in the hobby. So once again, just maybe this is a thing for people out there. Maybe think twice about entering into that break. Maybe think twice. I don't know. Maybe buying singles is better, because, if Panini is being dodgy with their cases and where they're going, well, maybe your local breaker is just not going to cut it if you're chasing those sorts of cards. But for 98% of people, they can't afford to even go into those breaks, Doma. So, it's a small thing.
Maddie says, let's start a breaking page called Mr. Shifty's Legal Breaks. I got Panini and Ken on my speed dial. Well, not to gloat, not to gloat, but I do have Ken that I can contact. But I don't know if he really wants to talk to me after the last time I spoke to him. So I didn't accuse him of anything. I insinuated that he had a connection to a certain grading company, which he denied, even that, the owner of that grading company is an investor in his auction house. So
he has no connection, Doma. He has zero connection.
Anyway, and he may or may not have said something about people in the hobby overall. So keep buying from him if you think. And I've heard some other interesting things from other people recently about Uncle Ken, about the way cards that don't sell in his auction house may or may not be listed on eBay for sale, and he's been caught out and had to pull them off eBay and question why the cards that were owned by someone else were being sold on behalf of the auction house, saying that they owned it, to then get money to then obviously say that the card sold, pay out the person, I don't know. Anyway.
Shambles, ladies and gentlemen. Global, do you think Select Australia does the same with footy cards?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think
so. Because there's 2,000 boxes, Source. Or 2,000 cases. Was it cases or boxes?
No, there was 8,000 boxes or something.
Well, 8,000 boxes, Source.
Yeah, for Optimum. Something along those lines.
Panini pumps out, I'm going to say 500,000 boxes plus a year. Maybe even more, million.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how many Prism hobby boxes or something like that. I mean, I know National Treasures, they're all numbered, the cards, so there is a certain print run on that, and people can work out the cards. Same with certain other products, but where there's not every card is numbered, it's hard to work out.
So Matty Tabe said, so buy boxes from Backyard.
Yeah,
all means go
plan.
for it. Yeah,
not
a bad plan. If you're friends with the Breakers and they tell you to buy which team because they know the case is loaded, yeah, of course. If you're not friends with them, you can waste your money with them. It's up to you. Hot boxes will eventually come to Australia.
No, there are hot boxes that come to Australia.
We've seen Cherry, MJ, Mailman. We've seen them.
Our boy Anthony hit a big cards in his PSG box, number to 10.
Superfractor, Sergio Ramos.
Look, it is a small minority of the cards. It just happens. It is a small minority.
You're gone.
What do you mean I'm fucking gone?
Your audio's gone, mate. I don't know what's happened. He's just dropped, and he's meant to be leading the final segment of the show. Is it Saucy? Is it me? Can you hear me? Someone in the chat, please say you can hear me. If not, it's me.
Testing. Test.
No, can't hear.
Hello.
Uh-oh.
All right, I'm back.
We might have to wrap this up, so.
Hello.
I can't hear. Or is it me? I don't know.
What? No? What the fuck?
All good on you. Maybe it's me. Anyway, can you hear me? All good? Probably me.
We can hear you all. It's your shit headphones, mate. They've run out of fucking battery, mate. I told you to get the ones with wire.
I reckon it is, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. Your shit AirPods, mate. This is why you use something with a wire, because it doesn't run out of battery. You're making me thinking I'm a lemon, mate. I'm going, hello. Yeah, Frank Walker is here, mate. And he's selling your tiles, all right?
Stop. Don't call me a lemon, all right? I take offense to that because today is a proud day in the Le Mans because of this guy, all right? But let's just be happy. Johnny Sin's son, Johnny Stones.
Yeah, my hero, Johnny. You're my hero.
Anyway, the last one, we'll end it on a good note, Sauce. I'll lead you in on this one because you had a purge today. Saucy went the purge. If you haven't seen the movie The Purge, it's when they go out there and it's a free-for-all. And he had a free-for-all today, Saucy, with his podcasts, and he went on the purge.
Purged, mate.
And what did you purge? Tell us.
Doma, I went through on my Spotify, I clicked on podcasts and shows, and I went through all the shows that I had. And if you had followed so many hobby content podcasts, and if you had not put a new episode out within the last 3 months, you got the unfollow. I'm not joking, Doma. I reckon I unfollowed 15 at least. So 15 shows that had started in hobby 2020, 2021 are no longer there. They've gone with the wind. They're packed up. They didn't have the goal, the consistency to keep putting in content. Unlike us here at Double Coverage, you rock up every week for 2 years. No worries, ladies and gentlemen. So I feel like giving us a plug if you want to, because consistent content is the name of the game, and we have been consistent as anyone on the planet, and entertaining, may I add. But I purged them, Dom. I got rid of them. I said, that's pathetic. You couldn't keep it up. Not good enough. Got rid of them. Always looking to add a few more. Obviously, I've added a few more on YouTube, but podcast is a bit different. You know, you can do those ones while you're working at the gym. You can do those, you're going for a walk. It's a bit difficult to watch a YouTube video while you're walking around or in the gym and start and doing other activities. So I do like the podcast format. Purged them. Got rid of them. 15 people that started a podcast during the boom are nowhere to be seen. I wonder why, because all their cards are gone now. So they've got nothing to talk about. They've got no prison base cards to pump up now. So look, Doma, it was good to get rid of them. Always looking for new content. If there are any, feel free to.
Are we gonna drop? Are we gonna drop any notable names on there? Do you want to start some beef?
No beef. No beef started. No beef starting.
Any Lamont? Was there any Lamont nominees in there potentially?
No. I just unfollowed him, mate. Just unfollowed. No, just unfollowed. There was a few. There was one in there where he had started one podcast, put out about 12 episodes, and then started another podcast with someone else, put out about 8 episodes, and then quit that. And then he had another podcast. So I was following the same guy 3 times. I unfollowed them all because they've all packed up shop. The same bloke. I mean, he's still in the hobby and he's still active on Instagram, but in terms of content, he's nowhere to be seen. But ladies and gentlemen, that was just a bit of rant. I think there was a lot of people that were, happy to pump up card content and pump out card content when the market was hot. When things aren't so hot, they sort of don't know or may not have too much to talk about, or maybe they're not very creative, or they're just not consistent and don't have the gall to be consistent. So
Maddie says lost their quick jab. No one's as quick as double coverage. And Global says if you plug, he's meant to say if I plugged you boys anymore, I'll be walking around with a butt plug.
Oh well. That is a great comment.
Hey, it's always good to know. It's always good to know, Global, that that's the feeling. At least you got some double coverage personal touch when you walk around every day. So that's always good to know. We're with you everywhere in spirit, physically, mentally, sexually. It's all good. We're happy. James says, "Where's Gary V gone?" He's on to plush toys sold at Toys R Us these days.
He's coming to Melbourne, Doma. So we're gonna reach out. We're gonna try. We're gonna try our best, ladies and gentlemen. He's gonna be in Melbourne
Lou first.
at some point.
We're gonna hit up Lou, see what he's doing.
He's gonna be in Melbourne. He's here. I don't even want to give them a plug, but there is a certain company that did bring Shaquille O'Neal and Hasbulla to Australia that is running this. So don't expect much, ladies and gentlemen. It's probably going to be a fucking shambles because that company is a shambles. I'm not going to name them company. You should know who they are. There was a massive outrage over the Shaquille O'Neal event and the Hasbulla event and what people were delivered for what they paid. So don't expect much. But we'll try to get it done. And we can, then you, ladies and gentlemen, can ask the questions to him yourself. And I mean, if we can do it as a live, we will. If we can't, well, we'll let you know and we'll get your questions from you, the listeners, to ask Mr. Gary V himself. Hopefully, if we can get it sorted. It'd be ideal. But, Doma, that was it. The purge happened today. A lot of hobby content creators are nowhere to be seen, and good riddance of you, ladies and gentlemen. Good riddance of you.
And on that note, keep living, loving, and breathing sport. And as Saucy said, for the last 2.5 years and for the next 250 years, it's double coverage, and we'll be here fronting up. It's Doma and Sauce.
Peace. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking all sports, double coverage.